So, thank you for this.
That's all right.
As you know, my website is all a bit about Anoraki things.
Okay.
So this is a bit sort of in the past. You all right talking about stuff?
Yeah, sure, if I can remember it. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But if I can't remember it, I don't think anyone else will be able to answer. Anyway, so you just ask me anything you like, and if I can answer, I will. If I can't, then
that's
move on to the next one.
So, there's a bit about also like things from your archives and the demos and things like that. So, there's several demos in my collection about like the Rush demo and the Don't Bring Me Down Electric demo and things like that. I think I bought it off eBay.
Was that the one with the picture of three of us on the front, like the sort of cassette one? Was it actually
no. The tape I've got is literally just a blank. There's no labels on it or anything, and it's only got the 2 tracks on it.
I wonder who had a copy of that. I didn't got a copy of that, I don't think. It's probably the original. That was probably with the original bass player that we used, who was just helping us out.
Yeah.
Has he got? What songs has he got on it?
It's got Rush and Don't Bring Me Down on it.
Okay.
It's literally that. It's just a tape with no label on it at all.
Okay.
I've stuck a label on it.
That's probably one I probably gave to somebody at some point.
I think
maybe trying to get a gig or something.
Probably.
And they probably just sold it on eBay.
Probably did.
So that's probably a very rough early. I mean, that was the first. That was probably the first like proper recording that we did with this. You know what we're trying to do with the whole feeder thing.
Yeah. Because the Don't Bring Me Down version is so different to what.
Oh God, yeah, so different.
So that means electric for a start.
And yeah, different bass player as well.
Was it?
Yeah, that's not Taka. That's like way before I met Taka. So, but that was the start of Feeder really, and that was the start of us, you know, John, myself, obviously, you know, found that kind of sort of chemistry and that sort of sound, and it was something that we talked about. And I started writing a lot of stuff that he liked, and it was sort of, we kind of wanted it to be, you know, we wanted it to be a 3-piece like the Police, because that was one of our favourite bands that we grew up with, and yeah, we just, you know, it was still quite experimental time for us, but we kind of felt we had this sort of, you know, we wanted to be quite melodic and quite sort of like pop melodies, but still be quite heavy. You know, obviously John was a great drummer and he could sort of play in a lot of styles, but he came from a bit of a pop background as well. I probably came from more of a, he was a bit more into, I mean obviously he was into rock as well, but I think John's background was more, he did a lot of cabaret bands and sort of did a lot of, he was into stuff like, obviously the Police, but, you know, a lot of other stuff as well that was sort of quite different to what I grew up with, so it was quite interesting. I had a lot of mates who were into like Black Sabbath and AC/DC and all that sort of stuff, you know, Led Zeppelin and all that, which he also liked, but I think I was probably a bit more into the rock than he was at that time. So anyway, a combination of sort of his drumming and my songs and stuff, it just all came together, and that was the first stuff we played Taka, and then we sort of met with him once, and then it all went from there really.
So do you think you'd ever like to see all these demos out in the public domain?
Well, I'm not ashamed of them. Everyone's got to start somewhere. You know, it's like embarrassing bands when you're a kid. You know, you can't avoid it, because everyone's got them. You know,
that's true.
I mean, I think music's a bit different nowadays. I think that it's a bit more calculated now than it was. I think you know, for me, coming from a small town, we weren't really aware of what was cool in London or whatever. We didn't really give a shit, to be honest. And that's plainly obvious by some of the bands I was in. But you know, you have to find yourself, and yeah, there is stuff I cringe about doing. But I think you know you have to experience that as a kid. And I think you know as a child, you don't really think about it. You just want to be in a band and have silly hair or whatever it is.
I think that might be why some of it is really good to listen to, because it's so refreshingly different to what you're doing now.
It is, but I haven't heard that for a long time. Oh, hell, it's a bit of a sub. I haven't heard that demo for quite a while, but that had Rush on it as well. That was on the same time, and I think that's still very Feeder. I never even write proper lyrics to that. It was kind of a real vibe track. I had a sort of, you know, I was sort of, you know, it was more, you know, I was more into riffs and music and melody at times, so it was always a bit of a battle coming up with any sort of, you know, lyrics in a short space of time. But we just had a bit of a vibe, and it was sort of. You know, quite an experimental time in our lives, sort of moving to London and, you know, experiencing a bit of the sort of, you know, the club life and, you know, going to dodgy rock clubs till 4 a.m. So there was a lot of debauchery going on around that time. But yeah, so you know, that song, it was sort of, you know, trying to be a bit risky, but it had a great riff, and it was one that I you know, was inspired by, you know, we really like Jane's Addiction and stuff like that. So that's kind of where we were. it was sort of our take on that, but then
I can certainly hear the influence.
Yeah, it was certainly in our way. And we got compared to a lot, we got compared to Smashing Pumpkins a lot, and then as well they had like Gish Out, stuff like that. But to be fair to us, we hadn't really found that formula, ourselves. We kind of felt it kind of just happened, and then people always compare you to bands. You can't avoid it. And of course, you get influenced by a band that's quite successful around you that you like. But obviously, hand on heart, a lot of our sound was something that we just found by playing in a room and just the songs I was bringing in,
So one of the things you did recently was, I assume that there was an instrumental version of Idaho came out.
I didn't actually. I think you always do instrumental versions because you have to do it for publishing. Yeah. So obviously, I don't know, Matt or somebody it was probably put out there. I think they used that weird little game.
The game thing.
Yeah. So I think they wanted to use something different to not have vocal on it, which often what happens.
It was really great to hear, actually.
Particularly, you can hear all the parts.
You can, and that's the thing. I mean, I've got a lot of your instrumentals, and you just hear all the hard work that you guys have stuck in the studio.
To be honest with you, the instrumental stuff for me, if it's when you put vocals on, it's obviously the most important part for people. For me, I spend hours on a tiny part, which is the verse, and I think for me that can take hours and hours of work, and people don't often hear it or notice it, and they think it's just guitar, bass and drums, but actually I put a lot of stuff on Feeder things, and it's quite subtle and it's quite quirky, some of it, but you don't always hear it that well.
No, absolutely, and that's why it's really fascinating to hear from a fan point of view.
I know. I didn't know if it'd be interesting to people, but I suppose I don't really think about it.
There was a Chrysalis promo which came out. There was one on eBay, and it had 20 instrumentals on there.
Well, that would have been the publishing one.
It sold for £250.
Really?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
But there's a demand.
Well, they're very, very hard to get those because basically that must have been somebody from our publishers, must have.
I guess so.
Some guy in the
room. It was called something like TV promo or something like that. So clearly it had been sent out.
Well, what it is, they send that out. We've got like an independent guy that works with the States as well, and basically we send out any stuff, and they have full band, and I do instrumentals for them, and then some have instrumentals just with some of the key backing vocal parts. At any moment, you need the ooze on it, because that's like it's like almost part of the music. So you have to sort of do different ones, and some people just want like no backing vocals at all. It's a real pain to do, but that's what publishers need for film sync and stuff like that. Sometimes they go with a vocal, but often they don't.
Do you think you'd ever like to see those out there?
I'm not embarrassed about it. I love the music side of it, and I probably, that's probably easier to listen to them. I'd actually want to hear the instrumental ones with the vocals on for me personally.
The Who's the Enemy song without
Yeah.
vocals on it is amazing. You've got so much work on it.
Yeah, I know.
Again, it sounds. I remember talking to you at the time, saying it sounds like a film soundtrack.
I know.
Without the vocals on there, even
I played all those keyboard parts. I'm a terrible keyboard player, and I worked out each part, and it sounds like real strings. I mean, there is some real strings on there, actually overlaid on there as well. It's forgot to Abbey Road on that, so I got that mixed up. Yeah, no, there is real strings on that as well. But we did an arrangement on the top of the keyboard part, and it sounded great. But it's very hard to really hear everything when you got
absolutely.
I think also you get drawn towards the vocal first, so it often takes you away from other things.
Now the live show, your live shows, one of the best parts about you as a band. Well, have you ever thought about sticking a DVD out there? Or
that's something just asked me, one of these gold ticket people. I'm not a massive fan of live albums because I know live albums are never really.
They don't capture it, do they?
Well, certainly not PA tapes, but I mean, if you've got ambient mics, I mean, I don't mind hearing stuff that people record on their phones sometimes. I know sometimes they can be awful quality, but sometimes you get one which actually is probably a better idea of what the gig was like, because you actually get the PA sound, very compressed through a little mic, and sometimes it sounds okay, because it's balanced.
Time's up?
One was there. I'll just finish this one now and go. Is he waiting? Yeah. Okay. I'll do it real quick now. And, but it's something which I'd like to do before we call it a day. I just don't know if there'd be demand for it, really.
I think there would, yeah.
Live albums are pretty old school.
It's it's not an album, a DVD or something like that with a few of your shows on it over the time.
I've got something planned which I might do sometime. I don't know when. We might do. I know Muse did it. I know Ash did it. We might do over a period of time. You might do a couple of albums in their entirety and actually record them, and then let people buy it. That'd be quite good.
You're reading my question.
No, that
was a late one.
I think that it'd be great for the older fans. And yeah, that's something
you'd have me there without a question.
Yeah, I think what we probably would do is, literally maybe do it over a period of a few months and do, or whatever, a few weeks, and then pick maybe 2 or 3 of our the albums we feel are most important to us in some way or band. So probably the first album, maybe Comfort Sound, maybe another one. I don't know, that kind of thing, and then couldn't do them all in one night, it'd be too much.
No, that'd be too much.
But I think if and if we'd happy the right sort of venue as well. Well, that could be interesting, couldn't it?
Yeah, it would, absolutely. So last question, quickly.
Bloody hell.
This is a set list I got of yours from a long time ago.
Right.
Do you know what that is? Can you remember what that is?
No. Vanilla. Yeah, it's cool. What was that song? Vanilla. Shit, Chicken with Brown Shade. Vanilla. Yeah, what song would that have been? I'm going to have to think about that one. So if it comes back to me, I'll let you know. Because it did become something else.
I would have thought Y is probably... Was that Suffocate? Or?
No, Y was a completely different song.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, actually, no, sorry, Y. Y was either... I think it was a completely different song, or it might have been... Will to Sleep, original title.
Oh, okay, yeah.
See that, and then I'll see if I can find. I might be able to find an art stamp for you. That's a really old set list. That must have been like an old Water Rat song or something.
I think it probably was, yeah. Anyway, thank you.
What was that?
Is that going to bug you now? Or
it is going to bug me because I remember that title. I might use that one again.
Well, you could use it again.
Titles there.
Thank you very much.
I'll do another. Next time around.
Yeah? That'd be brilliant if you could.
I'll try to find out. Do you want a quick picture of it?